Greetings, I, TheWarOwl, greets you, and welcome to Viewer's Choice, the show where you decide what the content is. We do a Twitter poll at TheWarOwl. The top choice in the poll becomes a video, the middle choice moves on to the next poll, and the bottom one disappears forever. Rip Ricochet, I don't think people knew what that game was. It's fun, it's great, but now it's dead forever. You guys voted this time and decided you wanted to see a top 10 list of my favorite video games of all time. So thank you for wanting to know a little bit more about me. Now, this is just a list of my favorite games. This is not like top 10 best games ever. I'm no authority on that. These games definitely aren't the top games. It's not like top 10 games of all time. Number 7 will make you cry. Number 9 shocked me. Gamers hate them. This one neat trick will help you improve your countdown list by 20%. Copy and paste from Wikipedia. Number 10, Shovel Knight for PC. Try as I might, I can't think about anything negative about this title. It's fantastic. It's like a callback to the old NES era of games, where games challenged kids instead of coddled them and told them, here, Super Mario, you can't get over that hurdle? Well, we're gonna give you the invincible Tanuki Nuki suit. I don't play games anymore. I'm old and mad and grumpy. Anyway, this game made me happy, very happy. I first played it during the 24-hour stream near the end of it, so I don't know if it was the combination of sleep deprivation or way too much caffeine, but as soon as I woke from my slumber, all I wanted to do was finish this game. It was like the first thing I thought about. I was like, wow, that game was actually really good. So I finished the whole game. I absolutely enjoyed it. It had everything. It had an art style that worked for what it was going for. It had humor that hit. Its reference game was on point. The gameplay was solid. I adored this game. It was fantastic. But the number one best part of it for me was the music. The soundtrack to this game is fantastic, and I think everybody will agree with that. Like, if this game was made in the late 1980s, I think this game would be a masterpiece. Like, people would look back and think, wow, Shovel Knight.
Back in my day, our games was a challenge. We didn't have none of these fancy automatical save points and playing on your cellular telephones. I used to play games on a Pascaline. That's how old I am!
Number 9, Psychonauts for PC. It's difficult to avoid talking about Tim Schafer when Psychonauts comes up, but I will. It's such a unique, creative story and visual style to it that really puts you into the heads of its three-dimensional characters. Literally, and literally. This game is a forgotten gem. It wasn't popular back in the day, it sure isn't popular now, but it provided a unique experience. It had solid platforming mechanics, it had witty dialogue. I was genuinely laughing throughout my playthrough. Great time. It's one of those games that pulls you into it, and then when you finally stop playing, you're like, well, guess I'm back in my own mundane existence. Number 8, Kerbal Space Program for PC. I grew up playing simulation games. It was my favorite genre. Theme Hospital, the early Maxis sim games, Roller Coaster Tycoon, the Civilization series. These were all great, and nothing fills the void left by these games by the terrible, terrible releases that completely screwed up the genre, like Spore and SimCity. I was lost. I was searching. Where could I find a game that could fill the void in my heart? Kerbal Space Program. This is a fantastic game. I've put hundreds of hours into it. For someone like me who was originally interested in physics and those sorts of things when I was in school, all right, here we go, nerd time. I was on the winning team in my region for the National Physics Bowl. I don't have glasses, but can I do that? I don't know. And I went to an engineering school. I love this game. It's great. Don't let the little cute Kerbals on the cover and on the splash screens fool you. This game is hardcore. You have to actually have some understanding and learn. It forces you to learn some very basics of objects in space and aeronautical engineering and those sorts of things. Very basic stuff, though, but it does force you to learn it. I'm not making this up. This game is literally rocket science, and that's what makes it so great. But if you ever get stuck, guys, there's always Skull Manley. Number 7, Perfect Dark for the N64. I put a console shooter on my list. I'm basically a peasant now. Perfect Dark is basically Goldeneye 2. If you think back and say, what's the most innovative shooter of that era of console games? Goldeneye pops into everybody's minds. Everybody was addicted to this game back when we were kids. Perfect Dark does Goldeneye much better than Goldeneye. It's made by the same people, same engine, same everything. It's like a big expansion. It had a unique story, really creative stuff. You had like sexy secret agent lady, you had Roswell aliens who were friendly and helping you out, future tech world. Loved this game. It was so ahead of its time, and I actually think it's still ahead of its time. I think modern FPS games, especially in the multiplayer aspect, could learn a lot from Perfect Dark. First of all, the weapon choice is more outlandish than Borderlands. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. There's the Farsight, which is the most overpowered weapon in gaming history. It shoots through any wall, it can see through any wall, it's a one-hit kill, and it has auto-aim. It is just... It's no fun. It's no fun when there's this Farsight. There's like the laptop gun, which is it's a rifle that you can turn into a sentry gun and throw it onto the wall. It's outstanding. You could customize the multiplayer experience down to the individual AIs of the bots. So you can set it as like specific AIs for these things. I'm very surprised that modern shooters don't give you this level of control that a game way back then in 2000 gave people. So Perfect Dark, just one of those great games of the past. I used to play the heck out of that game. Number 6, Starcraft for PC. Brood War, 10 out of 10. Perfect RTS. Number 5, Diablo 2 for PC. Lord of Destruction, 10 out of 10. Perfect action RPG. Remember the days when Blizzard would take an established genre and perfect it? Starcraft, pretty much the perfect RTS. It was one of the early esports. It was played competitively. It was one of those games that sort of shown that games could be played professionally as well, with Quake and Counter-Strike. Just fantastic. And Diablo 2, a lot of people consider Diablo 2 to be the best game ever made for PC. It, at the time, was the perfect action RPG. It's the consummate action RPG. I loved these games. Blizzard was always my favorite gaming company. What happened? Number 4, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I adored this game as a child. It is the first game that really got me addicted to gaming. I could not put it down. Every single level in this game has unique sprites, unique mechanics, and unique enemies dedicated specifically to that level. That's the attention to detail that makes Nintendo games so damn quality. This game, I think, holds up today as well. I could play it over and over again. I'm not going to say it's the best platformer of all time, but it is a game that I really love. Now, if there is one thing I could suggest to you guys, is to check out guys who speedrun this game, because it's really interesting. They try to beat the game in as small amount of time as possible, and you can really tell that the game has a very high skill ceiling. Especially check out Awesome Games Done Quick. These guys put on like a week-long live stream event that raises money for charity. They raise millions of dollars for really awesome charities. Check these guys out. Number 3, Super Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I've played through this game many times, and no, this isn't the same series as Yoshi's Island. This is what happens when you take the Mario IP and you give it to Square Enix. They create an RPG with platforming mechanics in the overworld and action mechanics in the turn-based combat. This is a great introduction to RPGs for young people, I think. Now, I played the game as an adult, I played the game as a kid, and I can safely say that the humor, the comedy bits, are genuinely funny to both children and to adults. Now, it takes a really unique approach to the silent protagonist. Instead of speaking to the characters, your party actually will mime out anything that they want to communicate in really silly sequences. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. Hashtag Gino for Smash. I also fell in love with the music in this game. Now, I use a lot of it in my videos, but don't tell nobody, because you're not supposed to do that. Anyway, a lot of the music that I write as well is directly inspired from this era of music, and this is my favorite implementation of that style. So yeah, the silly MIDI music I write, directly inspired from this stuff. I love it. Number 2, Half-Life for PC. Oh, hey. Hey, I'm new here too. This is my first day. I'm a nuclear physicist. Oh, hey, your leg touched me there a little bit. I don't mind. We're all gonna die horribly, aren't we? Half-Life is the game that made me love gaming. It has had such an enormous impact on not only the gaming industry, but my life and the direction my life has taken. For some of you guys who may be younger, Half-Life completely revolutionized the first-person shooter genre. You could look at a history of gaming and put Half-Life down and say, this is everything that happened before Half-Life, this is everything that happened after Half-Life. It's that important. And its open view on the game after release has created so many third-party mods, titles that you guys know today, like Team Fortress, Counter-Strike, Natural Selection. All of these things grew out of this game. It launched Valve as a company, which led to the creation of Steam, which led to the content being pushed out there constantly by third-party developers. This game is just so much importance in gaming history, and also my history as well, because I was involved early on in the modding community. It is what got me interested in software development in the first place. I wanted to make games. I wanted to work for Valve. I wanted to do all this stuff. My life has obviously taken a very different direction, but I don't think I'd be the person I am today. I don't think I'd have the interests I have today, the love and appreciation that I have for gaming, if I never got into Half-Life. It's that important. And number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 for PC. Nah, just kidding. It's Counter-Strike. I mean, what else could it have been? This one's pretty obvious, Counter-Strike. I first played Counter-Strike when I was in a cyber cafe, immediately hooked. This game kicked my ass. I had like a kill-death ratio of 1 in 15. That's what got me hooked to it. No other game had challenged me like Counter-Strike had, and no other game just kept me wanting to play more and more and more. This is a game where your character doesn't get better, you get better. This is a game that takes teamwork, it takes coordination, it takes practice. I was a very competitive youth. I was very meek and small, and I couldn't really play sports. I wasn't good at it. I didn't have the interest. I didn't have the physical ability to play sports. Counter-Strike was really my outlet for that sort of thing, so it holds a very special place in my heart, my number 1 favorite game of all time. But let's be honest here, guys, this list really isn't a countdown list. This is my way of sharing a little bit more about myself with you. I want to thank you guys very much for all the support you guys constantly give me in doing this full time. It's been going on for 2 years now. Counter-Strike is the game that really launched this YouTube channel. I've been doing YouTube for like, what, 6-7 years or something like that? My channel's been around a lot longer than a lot of the big guys who you guys are subscribed to, but it was Counter-Strike that really propelled my channel forward. The videos I started doing on it with Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and that's why it really holds such a special place. Counter-Strike got me out of the cubicle, baby, and I am now out there in the world taking risks and doing cool stuff. So yeah, thank you guys once again so much. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this little journey we went on, learning more about ye ol' WarOwl here. And have a nice day. I'm the WarOwl, and I still have no closer.